Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the NBA slate on Draftkings for Tuesday, November the 15th. We got a shorter Tuesday slate, 5 games tonight, but as always guys, we're going to talk through each one of these 5 games. I'm going to give you guys my quick and early thoughts on the slate, what does stand out to me, taking a first look on Monday night. As always though, before we get started with the breakdown, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos and if they do help you out a lot, please hit that like button down below. I do always appreciate the likes. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you're new here, check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. So PrizePicks is a player prop based DFS site. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of PrizePicks before, but if you have not, you need to get signed up over there. Use promo code NOAH when you sign up for PrizePicks and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. On PrizePicks, you're just taking more or less on a player's projection. We do already have some player props up for Tuesday's slate. Not a ton is available right now, but you can see what's on the board as of now. You know, they got points props, rebounds, assists, points, rebounds, assists. They got a ton of different categories. As we get closer to the start of the games on Tuesday, you'll see even more props get added to the board on PrizePicks, and you can take a look at their entire board, look through all the props, see if there's anything that stands out to you. Again, you're just taking more or less if you have a lean one way or the other. You do have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks, and you can win up to 10 extra money on PrizePicks. So if you guys are not signed up, get signed up. Use promo code NOAH. Get that first deposit match when you do sign up. But let's talk through Tuesday's 5-game slate, guys. We'll start off with the first game of the night, the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. And looking at this game, there is some important injuries to monitor in this one. So Zion Williamson is currently questionable. This will definitely be a big injury that, kind of impacts the slate, could open up some value. We'll talk about how, I would target the Pelicans if Zion is in or out. And then Desmond Bane is doubtful, so he's not expected to play. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. is questionable, so it looks like he's most likely going to play, right? The report is that he intends to make his season debut. So he's questionable, but he's trending towards playing. So we'll definitely talk about, Jaren Jackson Jr., him coming back, what that changes. But looking at this game, there's definitely some plays to like here. So, John Morant made him the cover boy for today, 10,100. I definitely like Ja as a pay-up option here. I think without Desmond Bane, with him doubtful, we can expect a pretty big usage rate and a pretty big role for John Morant. We know if this game's close, Ja should play about 33, 34, 35 minutes. The matchup against the Pelicans definitely is a little bit tougher. The Pelicans do have some good defenders. Herb Jones is a really good defender. But John Morant's just going to take so many shots. He's going to have so much usage that I think he can, dominate even in a tougher matchup. So I definitely think John Morant's a really good pay-up option today. I like him quite a bit. Now, on the Pelicans side, I think my interest in the Pelicans is going to depend on if Zion is in or out. If Zion plays, I really don't like a ton here just because when the Pelicans are fully healthy, it's a tough team to really get excited about, especially when everyone's priced correctly. Sometimes you'll get some guys underpriced a little bit, but like right now with Zion at 8,700, Ingram at 8,500, CJ 79, J-Val 72, those price tags all feel correct. Now, if Zion were to get ruled out, then I think it makes it a little bit more different. Then you can start to look to guys like Ingram, CJ McCollum, J-Val, I think would look a little bit more appealing. If Zion does wind up sitting, I'm guessing they would probably start Najee Marshall. But there's a lot of things they could do. They could start Trey Murphy. We've seen Trey Murphy start at times this season, so could get some value there. If Zion does sit and Trey Murphy starts, he's only 4,200. He would be someone to consider for value. If Najee Marshall starts, he's only 3,200. He'd also be someone we can consider for value. But we'll have to wait and see with the Zion news. Right now, if Zion plays, I don't really like a ton from the Pelicans. But if Zion is out, I definitely think Ingram gets a little boost. I think CJ gets a boost. And I think J-Val at 7,200 looks really, really appealing. I think J-Val's minutes would definitely be more secure if Zion were to sit. And then looking at the rest of the Memphis guys, so with Desmond Bane doubtful, with him not expected to play, I'm guessing that we do see John Konchar start in place of Desmond Bane. John Konchar did start last game with both Bane and Ja out. He wasn't super productive. He only had 22 DK points, but he played 37 minutes. I'd assume he would get pretty good minutes once again. Now, he is 4,900. It's not like he was 3,400 on Saturday. Or Sunday. He was a really good value that day. Tougher to say he's like this great value at 4,900, but he would still be playable, I think, just because we could probably pencil him in for 30, 32 minutes without Bane. And with Jaren Jackson Jr. expected to play, I think that makes guys like Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams not look that appealing. Obviously, Santi Aldama should go back to the bench, so he's not that appealing. I'm guessing Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be on a minutes limit. He hasn't played in a while, so they might even bring him off the bench if they're going to limit him. So I don't really think Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be rosterable today, unless we get word that he's not limited, which I'd be surprised by that. So really on the Memphis side, my main interest is definitely Ja Morant here. And then I think if you want to go to Conchar for value, with Desmond Bane doubtful, that's okay. He's still in play at 4,900, but Ja is the guy that really stands out. But let's go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about the Clippers and the Mavericks. So the Clippers, they are on a back-to-back today. We'll have to keep an eye on their injury report, but I'm pretty sure they blew out the Rockets, so a lot of the starters didn't even play their full minutes. Looking at the stars in this game, you got Luka at 12,800, you got Paul George at 10,400. Luka is someone that I always have interest in, but it's definitely going to be tough to pay this price tag for Luka, especially when you do have guys for way cheaper, like you have Ja Morant for way cheaper. If you want to go to Paul George, he's way cheaper. You got Sabonis, Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant, guys you could go to. So I don't think I'm really going to be going to Luka today unless we just get like a ton of value on the slate. And if we do get a ton of value, then obviously Luka is someone you can pay up for, but this almost 13K price tag is going to be really tough to get to on a slate that doesn't have a ton of value right now. And then Paul George, he was kind of disappointing on Monday night against Houston, but he didn't play his full minutes. He definitely lost some minutes because they blew them out. 29 minutes for Paul George, 44 DK points. Tougher matchup here against Dallas, but we know Paul George is going to have a really big usage rate. Obviously, without Kawhi Leonard, he's going to handle a big role offensively. So Paul George is still fine, but I think I'd rather go to Ja Morant if I'm choosing between one of those 10K guys. And then looking at the rest of the options in this game, Spencer Dinwiddie's been playing really well lately, but he's 6,700 now, and I think this is kind of an appropriate price tag for Dinwiddie. But the last few games, 49, 52, 41 DK points, he's really been taking on a big role. He's been contributing in all categories. On a shorter slate like this, only 5 games, I think Dinwiddie is still in play, but I'm not super excited about him at this salary. And then Zubac, Christian Wood, they both feel priced right. Same with Marcus Morris. I mean, there's not a ton that I'm really liking in this game. I think everyone's kind of priced correctly. John Wall, I think he's going to be back for Tuesday. He was ruled out Monday for injury management, so he should play today. So I think that pretty much takes Reggie Jackson out of consideration, and the rest of the Clippers bench I don't want to go to. So yeah, it's not a game I have a ton of interest in. I think if you're going to roster some guys in this game, you're probably looking to Luka, Paul George, maybe Dinwiddie. I don't see too much else I really like, though. So we can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about the Knicks and the Jazz. So you got Julius Randle at the top here for 8,100. I definitely have some interest in Julius Randle today. I think this is a solid matchup against Utah. I know Utah this season has been giving up a lot of points in the paint, and that's where Julius Randle can do a lot of his damage. This Utah team without Rudy Gobert, they're just not as stout defensively against bigs. They've still been solid defensively as a team, but against big men, you can definitely beat them down low. Kelly Olynyk's not the best defender. Jared Vanderbilt's a solid defender, but he's definitely a little undersized compared to Randle. So I think it's a fine spot for Randle. I think he's more of a GPP play, but he is viable on this slate. But in general, this is not a game I have a ton of interest in, just because everyone feels priced about right. Lauri Markkanen's been amazing this season, but he's also 7,500, which feels like an appropriate price tag for him, if not a little bit too expensive. Brunson at 6,800, I don't mind. He's obviously going to have a big role with this Knicks team. He should play big minutes if this game stays close. The price tag's still favorable, so I don't hate Brunson, but Barrett is a guy that I've really never played. I haven't played RJ Barrett at all this season. Don't think I'm going to play him today. Clarkson and Conley both feels priced about right. Isaiah Hartenstein has been starting lately, and I think he's started the last 2 games. But it looks like I think Mitchell Robinson's questionable. We might get Mitchell Robinson back today. If Mitchell Robinson plays, obviously no interest in Hartenstein. But if Hartenstein starts again, if Hartenstein is in the starting lineup, I think he's a really good value at 5,300. It's a good matchup against Utah. They give up a lot of points in the paint. That's where Hartenstein's going to do a lot of his damage. He's a guy that's going to really, he's going to get there on putbacks. He's going to get there on defensive stats. So at 5,300, I think Hartenstein's a pretty good value if he does start again. But obviously that's all dependent on if Mitchell Robinson plays or not. And I don't really know if there's any value in this game. Kelly Olynyk's only 5K, which feels pretty cheap, but he's not really been producing that well lately. He hasn't shown much of a ceiling this season. I think if this game stays close and he's not in foul trouble, we probably do get 30 minutes from Kelly Olynyk. So 30 minutes from Kelly Olynyk at 5K, I think on this slate is fine. But again, you look at his game log, it's pretty gross. Less than 25 Draftkings points now in 5 straight games. But I feel like he's due to have a big game at some point. Olynyk has historically been a relatively productive player when he does get minutes. So on a shorter slate like this, I think Olynyk is fine, but that's really it for this game. I don't see too much else I'm loving here. Jared Vanderbilt's a guy that has shown to be productive when he gets minutes, but his minutes have kind of been all over the place lately. Plus, he seems to always be in foul trouble. He's only 4,700 though, so like this is another guy that I think is like an okay value play on a slate like this where there's really no value. But that's really it for this game. Let's go ahead and talk about the next one, talk about Brooklyn and Sacramento. So looking at this one, we'll definitely have some injuries to monitor here. Nicholas Claxton got injured in their last game. He's probable, so he's expected to play, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Ben Simmons was a late scratch, and he is questionable. So Simmons questionable, Claxton probable. With Simmons questionable, I don't know if that impacts a ton on Brooklyn. I think the biggest beneficiaries would probably be Nicholas Claxton because I know Simmons and Claxton have been kind of splitting minutes lately, I'm pretty sure. And then maybe you see more minutes for a guy like Cam Thomas, or maybe Joe Harris plays a little bit more. Seth Curry is probable, so he's expected to play today. So, yeah, I don't know if these Brooklyn question marks really impact a ton just because, Claxton, he's expected to play. Simmons, I think, everyone's priced about right for Simmons to be out anyway. So, like, even if Simmons does sit, it doesn't change too much on the slate. Obviously, Kevin Durant is the guy that, really stands out on Brooklyn. He's just going to have a monster role, monster usage rate, play a ton of minutes. The offense is going to run through Kevin Durant. But the price tag at $11,200 is, it's what it should be. There was earlier this season when, Kyrie first got suspended, we saw KD be priced like at 10-2, 10-3. He was way too cheap then. Now at 11-2, this is where he should be priced. So, like, I don't think Kevin Durant's this, like, must-play, spend-up option, but he's obviously viable on a short slate like this. And then Sabonis and Fox, I think, are both solid. Again, they also feel kind of priced correctly, but definitely think this is a matchup Sabonis can have some success in. Brooklyn historically been, not the best defensive team against big men. Sabonis we've seen have some massive games lately. Had 66 Draftkings points in his last game against the Warriors. Like, he's been really good this season. He's been staying out of foul trouble lately too. That's something that he really struggled with earlier in the year. He was getting in foul trouble a lot. He's been staying out of foul trouble lately, and we've seen some 50-plus point games from Sabonis. He's been playing big minutes as well. The price tag's caught up. He's 9,200 now, but I still think Sabonis is in play. I think De'Aaron Fox is viable as well at 8,800. He should play big minutes if this game's close. Brooklyn this season, they've been much better defensively as of late. They really struggled to start the season on the defensive end. But really, ever since Kyrie got suspended, their defense has really gotten better. So I don't think it's like this slam dunk great matchup for De'Aaron Fox. But still at 8,800, he's firmly in play today. And the Nicholas Claxton, I do like quite a bit at 5,900. This definitely feels like too cheap of a price tag for Claxton. Obviously, he got injured last game against the Lakers, did not return, so we don't want to look too much into that. I mean, we saw Claxton be priced like at 6,500, 6,600 for most of at least as of late, and for most of the season. I guess like after his bad game last game, they just priced him down to 5,900. This price tag is definitely too low for Claxton. It's a good matchup too against Sacramento. They're going to need his size out there to go up against Sabonis, so I think the minutes will be there for Claxton. Should play probably 32, 33 minutes if this game's close. So I do like Claxton quite a bit. He might be my favorite play overall in this game. Just that $5,400 salary really stands out. But then Kevin Huerter, he's been playing really well lately. I think at 5,400 he's priced about right, but we've seen him have some good games as of late. He should play about 30, 32 minutes if this game's close. He's more of a GPP play, but I think he's viable. Guys like Royce O'Neal, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, they're playable, but none of them really look that great on this slate. If Ben Simmons does sit, I think there should be a few more minutes available for Cam Thomas. He played 23 minutes last game. His minutes have been a little bit down lately compared to what they were previous games, but we do get like 25, 26 minutes from Cam Thomas. At 4,300 on this slate with minimal value, he's someone we could look to. But we'll have to keep an eye out, like Seth Curry coming back. If Seth Curry does play, that does make Cam Thomas look a little bit less appealing. I want to say that Curry's been out for like the last few games, and I think that definitely has helped Thomas. But even if Curry returns, I think Thomas would still be like a GPP dart throw. But that's really it for this game. I don't see anything else I'm liking here. So we can go ahead and talk about the last game of the night, the Spurs and the Blazers. So the Spurs, they're another team on a back-to-back today. I think the Spurs and the Clippers are the only teams on back-to-backs. So I have to keep an eye on the Spurs injury report. I assume everyone's going to play today, but it'll be something to monitor. Looking at this game, starting off at the top, you got Damian Lillard at 9,900. Yeah, I think I would put Damian Lillard probably behind guys like John Morant. Probably would put him behind like Kevin Durant and Luka too. But I think Dame is viable here. He hasn't shown like the consistent massive upside that we always want from Dame. He does have kind of like a lower floor. He's definitely had some disappointing games this year. But this is a really good spot against San Antonio. San Antonio plays at a really fast pace. They don't play much defense. I think Dame can definitely have a big game here. Now, on this slate, I think I would still prefer John Morant straight up if I could get to Ja. But I don't mind going to Dame in tournaments. I assume his ownership will be somewhat low. I think he'll get owned, but I don't think he'll be like massive chalk today. So Damian Lillard is in play here. It's a really good matchup. Again, Spurs play fast, not much defense. The rest of Portland, though, like guys like Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, I think are priced about right here, especially with Dame fully healthy now. Do need to keep an eye on the status of Jusuf Nurkic. I think Nurkic has missed like their last 2 or 3 games. We've seen Drew Eubanks start at center the last few games without Nurkic. He started their last 3 games, 22, 27, and 33 minutes. I don't know why he's only 3,900 today. You would think DraftKings would have priced him up a little bit, but if Nurkic does sit again, I think Eubanks is probably going to be like the best value play overall today, especially because it's a really good matchup and it's a revenge game for him as well. But I will definitely have a lot of interest in Drew Eubanks if Nurkic sits. If Nurkic plays, then not a ton of interest in Eubanks. If Nurkic does play, I think he becomes a little bit more appealing. I think he's a pretty interesting option. 6,900 for Nurkic is definitely cheap. And this is a really good matchup. The San Antonio Spurs give up a lot of points in the paint. I know they've been giving up a lot of fancy points to the center position as well. I think this is definitely a spot where Nurkic could dominate. And we know Nurkic is a guy that offers that kind of slate-breaking upside. So he would be a really intriguing GPP play today if he does play. Because this is one of the late-night games, I don't know when we're going to get news on Nurkic. It could be well after lock. So that should keep his ownership fairly low, especially if he's questionable all throughout the day. But then like on the San Antonio side, looking at some of the Spurs guys, so we'll need to keep an eye on the status of Tre Jones. Tre Jones did get scratched from Monday's game, did not wind up playing. And again, it's a back-to-back for the Spurs. With Tre Jones out, they did actually start Keita Bates-Diop. I thought they were going to start Josh Richardson in place of Tre Jones on Monday night, but they started Keita Bates-Diop. At the time I'm making this video, that game is currently going on, and I think Keita Bates-Diop's doing pretty well. So if he does wind up starting again, if Tre Jones is out again and KBD starts, I think KBD is going to be a pretty good value play at 3,300. Just because there's really not a ton of value right now. But I think Josh Richardson would play a good amount off the bench as well, and at 4,200, Richardson is still going to look like a pretty good value too. So there will definitely be some value from San Antonio if Tre Jones remains out. Now, if Tre Jones comes back, if he plays, I think looking at San Antonio, there's not a ton that I love. I think Johnson, Vassell, Pirtle, they all feel priced about right for today. I think Tre Jones, if he does play, he probably would be my favorite play on San Antonio because he's only 5,700. We've seen Tre Jones play really, really well as of late. His minutes have been really secure. He probably would play about 33, 34 minutes if this game's close. He should average around a fancy point per minute. 5,700 is too cheap for Tre Jones, assuming he plays today. But right now, this is definitely, especially on the San Antonio side, it's kind of a wait and see because I think Tre Jones being in or out does impact a lot here and obviously could give us some value if he winds up sitting. If he winds up playing, I think he's my favorite guy in San Antonio. And then the main 3 guys like Johnson, Vassell, Pirtle, they're all playable, but none of them stand out as like priority plays today. But yeah, I think that's it for this little 5-game slate, guys. Again, wasn't too much to talk about because it is a shorter slate today, but I hope you guys did enjoy this breakdown. As always, I appreciate you guys checking out these DFS videos. Hit that like button if you did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you guys are new to the channel and you've never heard of PrizePicks, they are the sponsor of this video. You can sign up for PrizePicks and use promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. I should have a PrizePicks video posted for today. If I don't get one up right now on Monday night, there's some props on the board Monday night, so I'll have to look through these and see if there's anything worth playing. If I don't post a PrizePicks video late Monday night, I should have one up sometime on Tuesday. So check that video out if you guys want to see some plays I like for PrizePicks today, if you want to tell me. But if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, get signed up, use promo code NOAH, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But best of luck tonight, guys. Thanks as always for watching the videos, for supporting the content, and supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys a ton. Best of luck, and we'll see you guys in the next video.